Okay, here we are, part 3. I decided to make this in 3 parts just because it was getting too long and that one balance jewel was fighting me. If you look closely, you can see that balance ticking away in the lower part of your screen. That's a good sign. The one thing I wanted to point out, if you look at these jewels, there's one here, one up here, and one there, all evenly spaced apart, and those sit proud of the surface here, and our date ring sits on those, rides on right on those. No lubrication is needed. This is a very smooth surface, very hard. The date wheel is probably brass and it'll glide right across there. If anything, a little lubrication is going to make it tacky and hang up. So I have all these points lubricated. So we're just going to start assembling parts. We're going to start, let's start with this. Let's start with this guy. Let's put that in. Alright. And our minute wheel. There's the next wheel. I got to put a smear of grease in. Let's go right in there. Okay. Next is going to be the advancer, the date advancer, I guess you would call that. Is that in the shot? It's in the shot. We're going to call this the date advancer, and that spring, if you notice, has to come out and allow that gear to sit. Are we in? We're in. Okay. Okay, and it's sitting right in there. That's got a smear of grease on it as well. Our next gear is this little guy. Alright, now the hour hand, hour gear, hour wheel, whatever you want to call it. I could probably advance this a little bit, but I don't want to have this spring popping that gear out, so we're not going to. You can give the gears a wiggle and you can see they're all meshed, so that's a good sign. Okay, we have a couple of pivot points here. We're going to put this advance quick setter together. That's going to get a smear of grease. Let's see, how do I want to pick that? Is that in the shot? It is. Very good. Does that look right? Why doesn't that look right? Maybe it is right. I don't know. Let's put that in that position. I just put the stem in the winding position, or the hand setting position. Okay, that makes sense. Smear of grease on that, and the advancer, I believe it went this way. Does anybody remember? I don't. Okay, I think that's how it goes. Because that's going, when you pull that that is going to push over and then push in this direction. Let's hope. I have no idea. So, next is going to be this plate. Let's get it in the shot so people can see. This plate is going to go next. Actually, it's not. It's going to go, but it's not going to go next. And it's going to sit, I believe. No, I'm not liking that. How about this way? I like to get everything lined up before I start attacking this, so I know which way it's going. I believe it's this way. Why is it not seating? Okay. There it is. Now it's seated. That is how that's going to seat. So we have to put this. Actually, we can do that now. We can put that spring in later. Okay. Before we do that, we need our date wheel. There's our date wheel. Okay. And I really think this spring here, right there, can be installed from the top. Just like that. So it'll make it a lot easier to put this together. I like easy. Easy is good. I'm assuming I can. I don't remember from the last time I did this. So, if we have to take it apart, we're taking it apart. It would make it a lot easier to do that right from the top. Okay. That's all. Those are all seated. I'm just going to run them in. One more. Come on. Come on. Don't lead on it too much. Okay. We are in place. Now, nice and free. That spring is going to go in that direction. I'm just thinking here, people. How do we want to tackle that? I think the long side goes, well, maybe not. Which way does the long side go? Let's lay it on top. The long side will bring it right to that end. And the short side's going to contact that in the right spot. I think we're going to do this direction. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to do the finger trick. We're going to put a finger on it. And we're going to push that spring in. Did it go in? I believe it did, because that is now spring loaded and captured. That's a good thing. Let's see how our mechanism works. If you notice, okay, let's get a tight shot of this, show you that mechanism. Let me get my glasses out of the way. It's coming around. Okay, it's just contacting the gear right at the 24-25. And if you notice, also it's engaging this wheel, and that's going to pop it over to the next day. And then we can come back around to do a day change. You'll notice how it comes around for the day change. Okay. There you go. Pretty interesting. Now, how does that advancer work? The quick setting, third position on the stem. That is going to work this way. Let me make sure it's tight in my... Okay. Did that click? There you go. It's working beautifully. There's the 13 at the bottom, 14, 15, 16. Look at that. Works nice. Slick. We did something right. Finally. Now I believe the way to time the next one is to bring it around to change over. Let's do this first. Let's put this spring in. This is our next spring. That's got to go in. This won't be as hairy, I don't think. Is it in the shot? We're in the shot. That's captured underneath that little relief cutout in here. You can see the machining marks from where a cutter went in and undercut that just a bit. Actually, let's take it. The last thing we're going to do is set that spring. Let's be safe here. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave the spring just hanging out. We're going to advance the time. I went too far. So that it changes the date right at midnight. There it is. So that should advance this wheel should advance it 1. And if I remember correctly, it doesn't matter how you time this, because it's just going to do it anyway. Every 24 hours it's going to change. So putting our spring back in. It's a very loose spring. It's not a lot of tension on it. I still don't want to mess with it though. And we're going to come in here. We're going to drop that in, but we have to move that spring out of the way so we can drop that down. Make sense? Yes, clear as mud. So you can see I got one set of tweezers pushing down, another set pushing that spring out of the way, and that holds it in place. I probably don't want to start advancing any dates right now, because there's really nothing holding this captive. So we are going to put on the dial and see everything in motion. We won't set the hands because, well, that just takes too much time. We'll do that some other time. So this might be out of the shot for a little bit. I'm just going to loosen these dial feet screws. I'm at an awkward angle, so it's going to take a little time. I hope everybody is enjoying these or learning something, or at least if you can't get to sleep at night, just put one of these on. I'll bore you to death. Yeah, pretty much. Alright. Don't have them loose enough. What's our time? 15 minutes. Alright, well, at least it's not 4-parter. I don't think you could take it. 4 parts putting this together. It's quite the learning experience for myself, working with this microscope right in front of me. Okay. Oh my goodness, why won't that go? Okay, coming out of the holder. I'm out of the holder, out of the shot, so bear with me. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. No wonder. No wonder. Okay, see? My mistake. We have a spacer to keep these wheels from contacting the backside of the dial. And it's a black spacer. I believe it goes that way. Or does it? Ay, ay, ay. Yes, there is a black spacer here. Unfortunately, it's busted. It's got a crack right there. I don't think that's supposed to be there. And then these cutouts line up with the dial feet. See that little cutout? So this takes a little bit of doing. Maybe I should do this first. Let's do this. I'll show you in the shot here. This is probably the better way to do it. Oh, there's my cat. Hi, Jazzy. You good girl. You going out hunting, are you? Okay. I put that on the back of the dial. That spacer. There you go. Genius. How I just figured that out. And hopefully it stays in place. I am out of the camera shot. Yes, that's the problem. We didn't have that spacer. That spacer maintains the distance and the clearance for those interferences. Yeah, good thing I remembered that. Hopefully when I get this done it'll work. And I don't have any clearance problems. I think that is designed to be have a little flexibility, so that may be broken from the factory, so you can seat it in this ridge. Yes, I think it is. That is designed that way. Look at that. Isn't that slick? Because it has a relief cutout around that gear to accept the movement, and then the dial sits on top. I got a screw giving me trouble. I got troubles. Okay. Yes, that is an engineered slice in that. You can see how it opened up to accept everything. Now, did I do this right? Let's hope. Let's go back to our movement holder, because that's a good place to start. We are into 20 minutes. Okay. How's our advancer? Okay.
Well, is she cold?
We're going to see if this is working. It doesn't appear to be. I think I have the dial on too tight. Something appears to be interfering. Something I did not anticipate, obviously. Because if I anticipated it, this wouldn't happen. Am I right? I'm right. Okay, let's see. Alright, we got a problem. We have... something's going on. Well, you get the picture. I gotta just adjust that. I don't want to get too long-winded on this, but you can see where those red indices are coming up and the date is on the bottom. So this I just got to tweak a little bit and get it back in the case. So till next time, thank you.